hang it. Hello, I'm here, Honorable. Stand, hang in there for 1 second while I try to resolve some little technical issue here. I'm not a technician, but somehow I'm fixed with these technical issues sometimes. So. Good evening and welcome to a special edition of the Liberian Diaspora Forum. I call it special edition because it's Monday, September 24, 2012, and this show usually runs on Sundays and Sundays only, at least for now. The first special edition of the show was on Friday, August 8, 2012, with Honorable Musa Kamara of Mbam Madinwa Association and Jama Fanda. Tonight we have the very honor, the highest honor to have Honorable Dunah, Nimba County representative for the second time in less than a month. Honorable Dunah is scheduled to depart the U.S. tomorrow, the U.S. of A. tomorrow for Liberia, and he has returned to the show to pay all of us a farewell and to give us, and perhaps to give us some updates about situations back home in Liberia. Honorable Dunah has been here for the past 1 month, but since he has offices throughout Liberia, he was able to get some update about many of the issues that we raised during his first appearance on this show. So he has returned once again to pay us, a farewell as he leaves tomorrow, and to give us some update about the status of things in District Number 7 that he represents, Nimba County, and more so Liberia as a whole. So, ladies and gentlemen, our guest, Honorable Dunah, is here with us. So, Honorable, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Kafumba. Once again, hello to all. It's kind of a great opportunity to be able to, through this media, communicate with you people so that we can share our experiences about what is happening back home and how we can all work together towards moving our people ahead. So for me, it's a great opportunity, and I want to thank you, Mr. Moderator, for hosting such a program. And we hope upon our return we can continue to even participate in your activities from that end. And I want to again thank the participants for allowing me the opportunity to talk with you. We are very excited to be on the program again. Like the moderator said, tomorrow we'll be leaving to go back home. As you are aware, the legislative break has begun, and it started on September 1st. So I am going right back into District Number 7, Nimba County, which comprises the two big cities of Sakai-Pia and Mbam. And we had our 2 offices there, and we will be hosting a mayor program on the 14th or 15th of October in Mbam, which will be an appreciation and appreciation program, as well as we will involve in some reporting on what we did in the first session. And then from there we will commence our district tour. We will visit the principal chiefdom of Bao, of We and Bay, and then we will also hold meetings with various sectors in the 2 major cities. So those are some of the things that I underline, and I will also want our listener and participant to know that we have a website, but we will be updating it very soon, and we will thereby wish to make it regular. The website is www.repdunah.com. It is up, but since the election, we have not updated it. But we will commence updating it early October, so we will send notice to that, and you'll be able to follow our activities through that link. Well, in Nimba County for the past 2 weeks, there have been a lot of problems associated with the road network. The road between Saniquale and Campley became totally impassable, as well as part of the River Cess track between Nimba and River Cess. And as you know, food and other medical supply to that area passed through Nimba and created some problem, as well as part of the Ganta-Sakaipi road. So there have been numerous problems associated with the road network, and of course the outstanding problem of the Banga-Ganta road. And we've been looking at it. We also have some challenges with our scholarship recipient through the Nimba County Metastasis Social Fund, and the scholarship team has been having series of meetings with the caucus, and the students are putting us under pressure, but we are saying we have run it for 2 years, and now this time we are running it purely based on merit. If you cannot meet a certain grade point, you cannot participate. You cannot benefit the scholarship. Scholarship should be for scholar. If you think you are from Nimba, it's your birthright. No, it's not a birthright. It will now be on a competitive basis. So some of our student leaders are saying, no, it's an entitlement. And we are saying it's not an entitlement because it's not enough to go around to everybody. So it should be given to those who possess the capacity. And we are also attacking areas of needs like health, like the sciences, the applied sciences, and others. So those are some of the things. So the caucus is standing by the decision, and we have 100,000 available for that purpose. We also succeeded in getting government to remit the $1.5 million for the past fiscal year, which was not remitted, and now so we have that added to the balance that was there available for development activities in the county. And, of course, with the passage of the budget, the county have additional money that the county development team would directly use in cooperation with the development superintendent, and that should be $200,000 or a little more, depending on the final analysis of the budget. But what I know is $200,000. So those are some of the new development out there. Yes, we have yellow machine, but they are being stressed because national government is asking for some to open some road so that the people of Riverside can have food and medical supply, to open some roads so that we can get things flowing into River G. And so we have become like a key player in the national road building activity. But what we are telling the Minister of Public Works, who has the statutory responsibility, is to consider acquiring road equipment for maintenance purposes, since indeed we still have lateralized roads and the new road equipment, because this rainy season alone for the month of September, our county have had to handle more than 3-4 requests from government. And it's quite difficult for a country to say no to central government. And so those are some of the challenges. And we're also aware of the situation in the sister counties where if trucks do not carry food and medicine, things could get bad. So we have to help, and we have to be our brother's keeper. So those are some of the contributions Nimba is making currently on the national scene as well, with our own equipment. And lastly, the issue of Saywah, it has been ongoing again, uprooted in the Booyah area in Nimba County. And the superintendent communicated with the superintendent, the development superintendent, and they put a halt to it. And the caucus is seeking audience with the Minister of Internal Affairs and Minister of Justice to understand as to why the Ministry of Internal Affairs continue to give people lessons to go through these irregular justice systems. So those are some of the challenges there. But altogether, I think we are on course. On the national level, there have been some suspension of some officials and others, resignation of others. But in my viewpoint as a lawmaker, these are issues we'll be discussing. If these administrative appointees are not performing, are involved in corrupt activities, we should name and shame them. Merely asking someone to resign, I mean, it doesn't help too well. So those are some of the things we have to deal with. The issue of corruption, even at the local level. Some of the county development funds, we got to keep a vigilance over it. So those are some of the things we're working with. And the Chinese government, if you follow the link, has made additional donation to the Jackson F. Doe Memorial Hospital to the tune of $1.5 million. But access to the hospital is a huge challenge. So the hospital is like underused at the moment, and the road network is a major contributing factor. It is in the dry season that the hospital can be at its maximum use, so we need to improve on that. So roads, again, remain very critical, as we know, for anything to happen anywhere, especially in a tropical country like Liberia. So those are the challenges and those are the issues that we can be able to to discuss on. If there are any other national issues, we can equally share our views with you, and so that we can all find a way forward for our countries. Mr. Moderator, as it's an open forum, we are available, and if our listener or participant have other issues that I didn't touch in my intro, we can as well as go into it. So I want to thank you, and that's why I will turn it over to you again.
Thank you. I appreciate that brief explanation of the challenges ahead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard our honorable guest speaker, Honorable Dunah. So I guess updates. So he's giving us an update as with regard to issues, challenges that are with him and his colleagues as law. Nevertheless, like he rightly stated, I mean, anything at all that concerns you, I believe he's the right person to ask. He represents District Number 7, represents Nimba County, and represents the people of Liberia. And so, with that said, I've just opened up the question and answer section of the forum. So, if you have questions, concern, comment, or if you didn't hear what you thought you were coming to hear, by all means, please dial *61, and Honorable Dunah, as he's always done, will be more than happy to address your concern. So with that said, I'd like to ask Honorable Dunah here. So I want to thank you for the update you've given us so far. I'd like to ask you if there's any other update you have so far with respect to the land, fiasco in Nimba County and Imam Ansu Kromah. Those are issues that are really of serious concern to many of our listeners here. So I'd like to know if you got any update about that. Hello, Honorable Dunah? Hello, Lucy? All right, that's interesting. Hang in there. Apparently his line dropped. So we occasionally do experience that, but he's pretty good at making a comeback. So I'll keep all eyes open for him as soon as he's here. He's not gone. I guess when I went to Q&A session, I kind of muted him. Yeah, I'm here, Dunah. Sorry about that. When I click over,
I was hearing you all along. I was hearing you all along.
Yeah, okay.
The problem was on the line. Okay.
Yeah, it was. So when I switched the question,
the issue with the imam, it was transferred to Monrovia, and my resource officer and I actually able to get any information from the bureau. They said the hand-on is with Justice Ministry. So until I get there myself, hopefully I will call you, and then I'll be able to brief you on it. But what I got from Nimba is, ever since the issue is in Monrovia, so I don't have much information on that for now. But like I said earlier, I think these are issues of our rights, and it is not a matter of who the imam is or what religious faith he belongs to. As Liberians, I think we all are entitled to equal treatment, and so we will follow up on our issues like I promised.
Okay. Thank you. Well said. Well, what I said, so ladies and gentlemen, star 61, Honorable Dunah is here. He leaves the U.S. survey tomorrow for Liberia. And so if you have any question, comment, concern based on what he said so far, or if anything else, anything will be a fair game, anything concerning District number 7, Nimba County, Liberia as a whole, he'd be more than happy to address himself to that. So the first caller here, Mr. Sekou Kenan, where you calling from in your question, sir?
I'm calling from Minnesota. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the Honorable Representative from Nimba County, and thank you to the management and staff of the Liberian Diaspora Forum, and thank to everybody who made it tonight. My question got to do with the land dispute currently in Nimba County. My understanding before coming to this forum was that the Honorable actually was going to give us some update on that particular issue and the issue concerning the Imam. But unfortunately, since he has nothing, there's no update on the Imam, and I have questions regarding the issue of the land dispute, which is you happen to be part of the commission that is currently dealing with the issue headed by Honorable Musa Beledi. Okay, and I understand that commission is not, your commission is not the first commission that was constituted to take care of that problem. If you can give us an understanding as to what happened with the first commission, did not finish the job, and you guys have been on the job for probably for a few years now, and up to now we are not seeing any end game on the whole process. And if at all you guys did not finish this whole thing till the end of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's term, and the problem remain unresolved, what become the fate of the people, that their land has been seized up to this point? And do you guys have any plan of any gain at this point? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Ramon. You got the floor.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Thank you very much for your question. For the land issue, I communicated with the development superintendent, who was, before he ascended to that position, he was the head of the secretariat, because at that time, he was working with the secretariat when he was working as my political officer, and then later when he became special assistant to the Minister of External Affairs, he was heading the secretariat, and he currently presides over the disbursement of funds. And from what he emailed back to me is that they have recommenced the payments to those who agree to go along with the conclusions of the committee in most of these cities. Like I said, they completed currently before the end of last fiscal year, and they move on to the more challenging areas of Ban, Sakepi, and Ganta, because Kample was more peripheral. Now, the first commission, you want me to go back a little bit, the first commission was headed by Minister Abulai Johnson, the former Minister of Internal Affairs, and members of that committee included Councillor Francis Johnson Morris, the Justice Minister at that time, as well as the Internal Affairs Minister who I just named, and then Minister Shannon, and members of the Nimba caucus, and we had Iman Habib from representing the interfaith, and we have a number of people who were even from outside of Nimba, and we took a field trip to Ganta because one of the contentious, in fact, the most contentious land dispute there is the former Guinea market in Ganta, and we went on an assessment, and we actually found out that contrary to many claims, it was not even up to an acre. It could be at best 3 lots. And then we'll move on to Sanikole, we'll move on to Sakepie. We made several trips, including all of these ministers, and we were writing the concluding papers. While writing the concluding papers, we are going to Internal Affairs to conclude on a comprehensive report when one of the committee members brought a whole set of new issues. He brought like almost 40 Ds. Of these 40 Ds, about, I'm talking about Ds.
Yeah, 40, yeah.
Yeah, about, of these close to 40 Ds, about half of them were claims on the Ganta Guinea market. If any of you guys from Ganta, you know where I'm talking about, exactly normal the Guinea market, when you take in Toke Road on your left there. So it was puzzling to all of us that we have worked together close to a year, and you are bringing a bundle of new issues. And then he said the issue was the issue of confidence. He didn't have confidence in all of us who were on the committee, and so he wanted to bring it at the time of the result, and that. It was then that the chairman said, then, you are not just a member of this committee. You are not even a lawmaker. You are a cabinet member like myself. And the president has asked us to push this thing as quickly as possible. So with this, I will have to report to the president that there is an impasse on the part of those who are all from the cabinet, because now you have embarrassed us with the lawmakers. If you are even told me 5 minutes before this meeting that, hey, Abdullah, I have this reservation, this will be fine, but we have come to discuss the draft and go to vet it, but now you have brought a lot of new issues. So I will have to go back with the president. I don't know what to do. You are obviously taking it back. So with this, on the part of our senior brother, we're all confused and we left from there. They went to the president, and it took some time. When it took some time, the group headed by Judah Sano went on the air and raised concern which were legitimate, because the caucus was continuously asking the Internal Affairs Minister that we don't want this issue to lie. So the president called the caucus. And Senator Doe, at that time chairman, and me, secretary of the caucus, we said, well, Madam President, maybe the way forward now, instead of your cabinet people driving it, let somebody from Nimba drive it. And this person should not be a member of the caucus. Let it be some prominent Nimbayans out there who people can listen to. And Mr. Billy needs him up because he has been working with on the sports side. They built up the Nimba team, and the Nimba team has been, heartily welcome, and a lot of successes have been recorded. So we thought that Mr. Billy could bridge the gap and make everybody to open their hearts and work. And to his credit, he has done so. I can say that for true, because I'm a very critical person. So Mr. Ability, so that was the end of it. And actually, the person who made our work inconclusive is no other than a very senior Nimba. I'm not attacking him. I'm giving you facts. It was no other than Mr. Lucini Donzo, at that time probably was minister. So it was at that stage that's how the first committee work ended, because Mr. Abdullah was very furious. He said, look, you people are senior Nimba, Mr. Donzo. You cannot do this to us. He said he opened it to a colleague. So we left from there, and all of them went to the mansion. The 4 ministers said they were going to meet the president. They will call us. The next thing, Minister Johnson called us and told us the president would get to us. That's the short of how that other commission. When the commission headed by Ability was set up, we said, well, we got to visit all of the towns, and then we came up with a format that everybody will assume responsibility of town hall meetings, and then we will set up a community committee that will comprise of people from all sector, all ethnic groups within that town. And that's how we set up all these supporting committees. And we said to make this committee functional, say we need a little budget. And the president gave a little budget of, I think, $75,000. And this budget will be administered through the chairman, by the secretariat, together fast. Time and again, we made radio. We use all the media in Monrovia. In fact, Ability himself put his station. For his station, whatever was done was totally free. We didn't pay a cent at the station. We used all the community stations. And so that was how we went about it. But there were actually some people who said they reserved their right to go to court. And they were waiting when the commission work has expired, then they can go to court because they won't want a presidential commission sitting and they go to court. It will be like in defiance. And we try to talk to some of these people, and some of them actually could not listen. I know of a number of cases that I can't remember the names. They were in Ghana and said, we'll wait. So, but because our work was voluntary reconciliation, the approach was that you talk with the people and they come to a table. The person who claiming the land and the person who settling on it, and they will try to bring it in. And some of the ground rules we laid down was, if the people in the community can see this land, this family was on it, we are not talking about documents here, the war has passed, let it be recognized as such. So that was the approach. And like I told you, not all of the cases were resolved through that approach. Close to 80% of all cases were resolved through that approach. And of that, when payment started, some people started saying that the money due them was small. So that's what Tico was telling me when we communicated. He and I last talk on Friday. So these are the challenges in the implementation of our final document. Our final document was presented at the mansion to the president, and she said she was looking for donors. So later on, I called Chairman Ability, and he said, well, the parents said they have found some of the money, and they have done stamping. And so that's how it started. And so that's exactly where we are now. The development superintendent, who happened to be the last head of the secretariat, has informed me that payment continues. But even as I speak, there were several persons from Sakaipi who came to me with dissatisfaction over the evaluation of the property. They are willing to take the money, but the money to them is way too small because some of the money could be like 3,000 United States dollar equivalent. Some could be like, 4,000. Some could even be like 2,500. But the fact that they were doing it like in Liberian dollars, you will hear like 100,000 Liberian dollars, 150,000 Liberian dollars. And we asked our secretariat repeatedly, did you guys do due diligence? We don't want at the payment stage to encounter problem, and we were assured. But again, we are in a post-war situation, and some of these things are coming up. So when we start seeing people, the money coming out, maybe they are thinking that, hey, if I bounce you, maybe I will get more. I don't know. So that is the new reality. And the chairman has not yet called a meeting. I asked him whether the chairman is aware, and he said yes. And I have every reason to believe that the chairman has been briefed just like I was briefed. So that is where we are now. But even the last time in Ganta, there was a near flare-up, and I happened to be passing through to go to Sakaipi, and I stopped by the city mayor, and we strategized a way forward, and we talked with the guys to hold their peace that the land commission will come to look at their grievances, and they should document their grievances. And some of them told us they were not out for that approach. They want to go through the judicial process. And some said they will cooperate with the mayor office to liaise with the commission. So that has been the status of things. But from what I know about the 52nd legislature that work on this commission, and I happen to be the only member now in, because Senator Johnson actually was boycotting caucus activities at that time, so he actually doesn't know anything about any of these things I'm talking. I have briefed my colleagues, and they are all in support of whatever outcome that the citizens will accept in terms of payment and those things. But in the event that the satisfaction are coming up as such, then it will still require a rethink. Some of the problems there, like I told you, is this. Some of the people have come to buy and actually taking possession of their property and sell it the next day. Some of the people that make the loudest noise, when we ask them, they do not have any land anywhere. And that has been some of my own disappointment with some of our brothers. Some of them who make the loudest claim in Monrovia, they do not have a piece of land anywhere there. But it would appear that I need to talk over radio. I know Mr. Juras, I know he's from Bang. He and I, we talk sometime. I call him, we talk sometime. But we sometimes tell him that we are here for you. Sometimes come to us before you go to the media. Because sometimes when you go to the media, the impression is that we are not willing to listen to you. That maybe we are from different ethnic groups. We are not willing to listen to your grievances, which is not so. So sometimes that can be my problem. I've even discussed it with him. So that's why I'm even discussing it here. I called him, I gave him a number. I said, my man, you can call me anytime, man. You're a man like myself. We can meet and discuss. Even your advocacy group on the land dispute would like to meet with you people anytime. If you people want to meet with, or we'll meet you up, but want us to all work together on it. So these are some of the challenges. And I told you some of the peculiar situation there I touched on it the other day. I will repeat is I gave you an example in Bang, which has to do with my personal friend, the house that they were in. And I know they were doing business there because I used to go there with schoolmates. The boy in 11th grade or in 12th grade, calling Aji Kromah, is in Canada. And her father came by, Mr. Ansu Kromah. He wants to go back to his business. He wants to use the facility. The one that was on the road, it got burned by the wall, and somebody has built a shop there. And my sister was selling a shop, so he called me, oh, Honorable, where you build your shop on my land? I said, no, I don't have shop there. My sister is renting there. Then I directed him to those who claim to own the land. And then when I investigated based on calls from Ahaji in Canada, who was in direct contact with him, the Tuazama family brought their deed and showed it to me. They say our father, Chief Tuazama, has a deed of 1,000 acres starting in the middle of Bang and going towards Low Play. So that property was given to them for squatting. So I called him. I called his son. I told him, well, this is their claim. They have a deed that looks valid. If you think their deed is not valid, there are other options, but they are saying they will not listen to the arbitration. I talked with them personally because I know Ahaji. And when I personally met the head of the Tuazama family, Sekou, and he said he can't do otherwise, they met as a family and gave the spot to their son to build his store. Send the building that was there was damaged by the war, and the people that were there were just squatting. These are some of the situations there. And I gave you another situation in Sakaipi. I've forgotten the family name. And one of their brothers had come from Guinea, left the other brothers in Monrovia, and sold 2 of their shops. And he did a valid transfer document. When they brought it to the commission, I happened to be there that day. I had just left Bam to go to Sakaipi. They called me to give some help because I've been doing some studies in law. So I asked him, I said, wait, how many children your father has? He said, we are planning maybe 10 or so. Your father left a will? He said, no. Do you have letter of administration? No. I said, okay. Because the young man who sold it claims that is his share of his father's inheritance. So he said he was not satisfied. He went to court. They came right down to the same thing I told him that day. The court in San Nicolas ruled that the man has just sold what he thinks is his because there was no will, and the father died intestate. So those are some of the challenges there. But I think, gentlemen, there is a way forward on it, but I just want you to get some of the details that may not be available to you because of distance. That some of the claims, this is how it comes out. A large family, someone will get up from Monrovia while some of their brothers were still in Guinea. They're going to sell the land and do a valid paper and leave it with the people they go. These are some of the challenges. So it's both ways. So these are some of the challenges there.
Okay, well, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we have Honorable Dunah with us for one last time, at least while he's in the state. He's giving us assurances that at any time he'll be more than willing to appear on our show, even from Liberia. And there's no question about his sincerity when he says he will do something. He came on here as soon as he first arrived from Liberia, and he promised to make another appearance before leaving. So he's scheduled to leave tomorrow, but he's capped his word by coming back to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. So we need to engage the speaker. He's here now. So that's *61 if you have any question, comment, or concern, so you can hear from the Honorable himself. So with that, I'll take the next caller. Mr. Mohammed Kamara, where are you calling from in your question, sir?
Okay, my name is Kamara Mohammed, and I'm calling from Dallas, Texas. Honorable, thank you for coming back on the show again to speak to us about Nimba. I actually just joined the show. I just started listening, but I cut most of your deliberation on the land issue. But what's troubling to me personally is the selection process of the past commission, the present commission on this land matter in Nimba. Pretty much, if you look at all the members, both past and present, they are working in some government agency, they are businessmen or ministers. I mean, given the fact that all you guys have a full-time job and other personal responsibility, don't you think it would have been wiser to find? I mean, we do have a lot of brains in Liberia that are just wasted there, and to give this commissioner job to them, pay them to look after this kind of thing, so that people that feel that they are being oppressed, that they are being denied their land, can have quick and fair judgment, instead of staffing, commission after commission with full-time people, with people that already got, responsibility. And I can point out one person, like Musa Belete. He's a businessman, he's in the government, he has a lot of things on hand. What time will he have for things like this, to travel back and forth from Nimba? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara.
Okay. Actually, the appointing powers have rested with the president, but if I tell you we have not been involved in advising, I will be like running away from responsibility. Yes, we advise that a commission be set up of people who could go into it, and we try to find people who will have the time, and that was the background. But I think you have a point. But I remember the last time we talked on the same matter with the president, she said any outstanding issue of the coming out of the commission's report will be forwarded to the Land Commission, because at the time the commission was constituted, the Land Reform Commission was not constituted as yet, but the Land Commission is fully functional. The commissioners are all appointed, and I think they have their own mechanism in place, and they got their own budget as a statutory commission on our laws. So that was what the president told the new Nimba caucus when we met with her, that all outstanding issues from the work of our commission because we all know that it will not solve all of the problem. I mean, there's no illusion about this. But any outstanding issue will be transferred to the Land Commission, which has the legal responsibility and oversight. So that's where we'll be heading. I don't see another commission being set up again because the commissioners are there. They are being paid by government, and it's part of their job. So, my brother, we will not go back to a new commission. Wherever we stop, whatever our achievements, whatever our failures, will be transferred to the Land Commission.
Okay. Before I take the next caller, though, Honorable, just a quick follow-up on that question. I think the point that doesn't the caller has a point, though, when he says that giving that commissioner job to people who already have, tons of other engagement, Musa Belete, LFA president, board member, businessman, all of that, compared to somebody who's got nothing to do, but they are just as qualified, if not even more qualified, to head a commission, so that person will make it a full-time job as opposed to making it a part-time, assignment to someone who barely got time for himself. Doesn't the caller have a point there?
No, he has a point. That's why I consider. I said that I cannot run away and say, well, the president didn't know. We were all involved in the decision together with the president as we were searching for a way forward. I think he got a point. In fact, the first commission was operating without a budget. When it got to the second commission and Belete was put as chairman, he said, look, gentlemen, for this thing to work, we will need a little budget to help the secretariat so that the secretariat goes up every week, and sometimes we'll send them to spend a whole week in the county. So, I mean, you are able to bring some clear-cut ideas that this should be a full responsibility of government. Government should put money to it, as opposed to us who are thinking that, well, it's part of our legislative duty and we cannot be asking for money for it. Yes, I think we could have gone that one step. It would have been okay. And that's how come we had a secretariat that was regularly going up. They were able to have transportation and, lodging and feeding allowance to be able to collect the kind of data we have, which is, I can say so far, is the best on land dispute issue in Liberia, and can help anybody to help resolve this crisis because we have historicized all of the cases that were brought to the commission. So I think he has a serious point. If the Land Commission were not in existence now, I will be saying, well, I think that's the next thing we'll do. But with the Land Commission having none of statutory responsibility, we won't. But if in the event the president will still want a commission, a separate commission, a presidential commission to work along with the Land Commission, then we will take his advice very, very serious. I mean, I will take note of it.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'll take the next caller here. So, ladies and gentlemen, *61 if you need to make your voice heard. Dunah is here for one last time before he leaves tomorrow. So, if you have any question, comment, or concern, by all means, please dial *61, and we will give you the chance to be heard. Next caller, no name. It says wireless caller. The last 4 digits, 9380. Your name, where you calling from, and your question. 9380. Are you there? All right. Apparently, it's not by the phone. I'll come back to that person later. I'll take the next person. No name. Last 4 digit 3357. Your name, where you calling from, and your question.
Yeah, this is Obi. I'm calling from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but I live in Minnesota anyway. Good evening, Mr. Honorable.
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. My question is, I got like 2 questions, but I'm just gonna make it one package. It's just gonna be one package. How much cooperation are you getting from the squatters? And then, the second question is, do you think that this land dispute is going to be settled under this administration? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abamba.
Actually, from the information available to me, we received a lot of cooperation from most of the people who built on these properties that way. They occupy these properties on a various scenario. Some of the scenario were, hey, this place here, our parents gave it to these people to squat. Send it now here in the war damage it, we're selling it. That's another scenario. Another scenario is this place, or in our deed, the people were squatting. Since the property are damaged, this is another scenario. The city say, hey, you people be here. The people may come any day, but we don't want this place to be bullshit in the heart of the town. Because take the center of Bond, about 4 or 5 stores were burned in line, damaged by the AFL soldiers. Now, it was becoming a bush in Bond because that's a situation I'm familiar with. When I went back home in 91, I was in Monrovia throughout this war. I went back home in 92. It was like a bush in the middle of the town. But then when I came back to Monrovia in 97 to go to school. When I went back 2004, I saw stores there. And when I asked, the city mayor said they gave it to people to build because it was becoming bush in the middle of the city. And cynics from there have beaten people on the street on 2 occasions in the night and people have died. So the city council took the decision. And that's how kind of city council was part of the discussion on those particular tract of land. So those are the kind of situations. So those kind of squatters are squatters who are more than willing to cooperate. They are squatters who are willing to negotiate anyway. Because they already know that the city told them that, well, if the people come, we'll try and talk with them. But we don't want to play the bullshit. And they are business people. They took a legitimate risk. So that's another category. But the category that says, hey, this play in our deed is a category that is very difficult to deal with. It's a category that at times is unwilling to negotiate. And sometimes the other category is a category of people who say, hey, our power bonds here. Though you have bill here, but there's absolutely no way that we're going to yield. Okay. There's no way that we're going to yield this land. This is my birthright, our bond, right? Yeah. Where the house was. So wherever you build here, let government resettle you. That's another category. So that category is very hard to negotiate with. I'll tell you from experience. They say, but our bond here, I don't care if the place is small. It's like it's the only place I know where I grew up. So I cannot let it go. Whatsoever you build here, let government give you something and you go. In some cases, like in one case with my cousin in Sakai, she agreed. As we are talking, the woman had received the money that was given to her. And what was given to her was the equivalent of 2,000 United States dollars. She has accepted it. But you know what happened right next? The man sold the property the next day. The committee turned the property over to him. The next day he sold it to Mr. Barker Zane. I gave you another story. A gentleman was adamant that the property was his birthright. That's where he was born. And the guy who built on it, they call him J.K. J.K. begged him. He said, my man, we all grew up together. Hold your feet. He said no. They went to the court. He won a case. Of course, everybody expected him to win. That's why they were begging. And it went to the Supreme Court. And Justice Johnny issued an eviction order. The eviction order was executed. When it was executed, the man went there and demolished the building. When he demolished the building, Kafumba, he sold the land. We're talking about peace and reconciliation. That really got to me. I got to hear about it a few days before I came out there. It really got to me. If people have engaged you and you continue to say this property is where my neighbors were buried. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead. Yep.
And maintain that your family cannot afford to give this up because the family is sentimental about it. And you got a judgment and you enforce the judgment. How come you have demolished the property that was on it, which was a very good building? Okay, you demolish it because you want to put something there that suits your needs. Let's agree. But the very next day after demolition, in less than a month, you have sold the property. So you just wanted to break a house down and sell the empty land? You will go to that extent, whereby through the Land Reconciliation Commission, they were willing to give you as much as 10,000 or so. So we are experiencing, strange things. I mean, some hard approach. Some people are not willing to reconcile, both on the side of your people, of Mandingo people, of Mano people. And you understand? I'm just giving you two instances. One, it went through the legal process, and the brother demolished the structure and sold the land. Why would you do that? Since you know you want to sell this land, the man who get house on it and is begging you, why not you compromise with him? And this is what we were saying. Since you will not sell this property, this woman is doing her bakery business there and has a tea shop, and she's begging. You say no. Okay, the woman agreed, and finally she accepted the money. She's looking for a new place to build a new place. In less than 1 week, you have sold that place to another person. So it's your property, though, but I am talking from the point of view, the question he asked as to the cooperation of the squatters. It is not only the squatters, but people who claim ownership. They are not helping us in some of these. When you put this kind of tendency out, then the issue of reconciliation, it has become question. Citizens will then be saying, I thought they didn't say that their property they want to come back to settle. Now knowing they just want to sell it off and go Morovia. So those are issues that we all got to face.
Okay. I think the second part to that question was whether you know or whether you can say for sure that this issue of land dispute will be resolved, by the end of Ellen Johnson's second term. I believe that was the second part.
The reason I cannot answer that question factually is some of these things I have just said to you. I have told you of family who claim that this is in our deed, and there is no way we can ever reconcile with these people. And we find it very hard, and we beg them, they don't. And we have dealt with people who have also said, this, we cannot accept negotiation. Let the people take the money. We want to come back and settle and do business. The next day, as soon as the people take the money and trying to relocate themselves, they are selling that same property. Okay. So we have met with extremes from both sides, from Gio side, from Mano side, from Mandingo side. So given that, I'm not sure whether we can complete all of these in so little time. One reason why I'm of that opinion that we need now is take the Guinea Road market. We have close to 25% claiming it, all are Mandingos, with about 25 deeds. And then you get about 6 Mano person claiming it too, all with deeds. You got about 31 claimants to that one parcel of land. And some of the claims are ridiculous. I have seen some of the deeds claiming 10 acres. Where in the heart of Ganda? I know Ganda well before the war. You never had 10 acres. You never even had an acre there before you can talk about 10 acres. Fraudulent deeds. And these people will go to all extent to tell the world that people are holding their land by force. So in as much as people feel that they can sensationalize the issue, and sometimes appeal to sentiment and appeal to ethnicity, and sometimes appeal to whatever, I think we'll until we are able to frankly look at the issue and discuss it frankly, for me, I can face it and tell them, look, you guys not doing us help on this one. You can be Gio, you can be Mano, you can be my uncle. It's not an issue. The issue is you got to deal with us frankly on this matter. And my brother, dealing in the field of HEMA, which is the field of social, as you well know, nothing is safe. People got their own background from which they are speaking. You will never know that in the man's heart, what he's saying is what he's going to do. Like I've given you an example. So we all got to pray for it. But I see some of these cases, we got, like I say, 20% of the cases that the people refuse to bring to the commission. So we will see a good number of them being decided by the Supreme Court.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you're just joining us, this is a brand new second special edition of the Liberian Diaspora Forum Talk Show tonight. We are very privileged to have Honorable Dunah back with us for one last time before he leaves the U.S. of A tomorrow for Liberia. He's he spoke on a lot of issues. Of course, a lot of the questions are coming around the line, which is great. We encourage you to ask more questions. Dial *61 if you have questions, so you can ask the Honorable directly. With that said, I do want to let you know also that we have another special edition coming, possibly Friday, with the hottest talk show host in Liberia, Mamadi Jakite. He's currently here in the USA with President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. As soon as the President deliver our speech at the UN on Wednesday, I'm told Jakite will be traveling to Minnesota here, and he's going to make a special appearance for us on Friday. And then, of course, our regular programming, which is Sunday, will be Brother Ansu Randolph Jabate. So it's been a busy week. It's going to stay that way. So we won't be here if it wasn't for you. So we encourage you to keep tuned. So I'll take the next question here. No name, 9380. Your name, where you calling from, and your question. 9380. Are you there? 9380 646. All right, still not ready. I'll move to the next caller. Brother Mohammed Kamara, I see you made a comeback. Your question, sir.
Okay, Representative Donor, it's Mohammed Kamara again from Dallas, Texas. But this time my question is not actually and it has nothing to do with the land issue, but rather a national policy or national security issue. You guys are the lawmakers, and you do everything over that goes to the Senate. At the end of the day, it's before the president, and then they're interpreting the law, enforcing it out at the judiciary. And then with the help of the police, they do help with the administration of all those things. And we have seen some reports in the past, recently, on Liberia, the police being the most corrupt institution. And then next to that is the judiciary, the court system, which is actually charged with the responsibility of interpreting the law, making sure that it's executed correctly. And I know this is not your area, but again, you guys are the one that write the law, and it goes down there. I mean, looking at Liberia, you see the justice system, the administration of some of the policy out there. Liberia is suffering. When we look at some of the reports that we see on the security issues and different issues on Liberia, what you guys do, even though going out of your area of responsibility, talking to some of you guys that you find in that area, I mean, what do you guys do in relation to some of the reports? Do you actually go out of your daily reports that you read on Liberia, read some of the international reports like Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International reports that the State Department put out annually on every country? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kamara.
Okay, thank you, Kamara. As a matter of fact, our committee has oversight over the police, and we have been concerned about this matter. I'll give you an instance. The issue of implementation is still very, very critical. We have to look at it again. The president has to make some strong decisions from my own point of view. Take a situation where we at the legislature, we felt that it was important to increase the salary, base salary of police officers, so that we think all of this will help to reduce whatever people are saying out there. And, if a man is paid well, the tendency to be corrupt will not be there, and he may also as well be more effective. Only to our surprise to come and find out at the gun budget hearing that of the $50 United States added, the authorities at the police went and reduced it by $10. And so they could not answer the question as to where the $10 for every officer, the balance $10, where is it? And so those are some of the challenges we are confronted with. For the judiciary, there are challenges, to admit there are challenges, and we've been working with it as the Judiciary Committee. We've been working to help issue on the side of capacity building. Some of the mistakes have been made by our financial handlers. They have kind of think of government as a business, and they sometimes ask
these people frivolous question, I would say. Because to ask the court administrator as to how much are you bringing to the budget as a criteria to increasing support to the judiciary is frivolous. And we had a situation where I had to intervene. That time I was acting chairman, and only to find out that the 38 vehicles needed for the circuit judges and the special high court judges, since 2006, they don't have vehicles. Because under our procurement laws, when the government issue you a vehicle after 3 years, that vehicle is fully depreciated and should be replaced. Now think about judges going in remote areas. And since 2009, they have not had vehicles. Some of them are using their private vehicles to go to court in Sanikole, in Vonjima, and all of that. And our finance team sat and looked at it and said there was no money to buy their vehicles. When the issue reached our committee, we wrote the plenary of both houses, and we were able to resolve that and put it back in the budget. Some judicial expansion projects were all kicked out, and we negotiated a way out so that the modernization and the upliftment of the judiciary can continue. It cannot be break and break. So these are some of the challenges. Development planning by development planners should take into account the holistic development of the country, and it's not on the basis of what revenue your entity is able to generate, but rather the entity involvement in the democratic process. So these are some of the things that we have been dealing with. These are some of the challenges. But I will refuse the assertion that our judiciary is very, very corrupt. I refuse that. Our judiciary has come up with a lot of very impartial and landmark decisions. We are aware that there are challenges. In fact, there have been some dissatisfaction to the extent some people are even filed impeachment proceedings to that extent. But I think overall it's a healthy process that is ongoing, a process of change. And I don't think it can be worked overnight. As regards security, our security authorities have to double up. That's as much as I can say from where I'm sitting. I see the need to double up, and we are working with them to double up. The issue of incentive is very, very crucial.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next caller, no name, 3853 is your last 4 digits. So your name, where you calling from, and your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for letting me in. My name is Kafumba Toure. I'm speaking from Pennsylvania. Honorable Dunah, thank you for chatting with us tonight. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I was born and raised in Kampley, Nimba County.
Oh, okay.
Honorable Dunah just touched on when Mohammed Kamara gave him the question about whether this issue going to be resolved. I mean, it was somebody said whether this issue going to be resolved about in the election. Yeah. You see, Honorable Dunah, I don't have a question for you. I have a statement to make. I believe that you, when I mean you, the Libanian, we are rushing into the post-war Liberia without taking a first step. You see, we all know how things went in Nimba County. People are mad because other people are occupying their land illegally. Because they witness their mothers and their fathers, their sisters being killed in cold blood. And, I mean, I am saying this sitting here. I was in Kampley, first attack, second attack, before leaving Kampley. I was in Kampley, see my uncle, sisters, brothers being killed by nobody but the Gio people. But we made a fight. It happened. I have a connection with Gio people. You can't erase that. But if you go back and see somebody occupying your land, you get mad. With any other scenario, I mean, you just said that somebody told the people, say, leave my land, and the next day they sold it because the people are hungry. And no Libanian, since Since 1990 up to today, as I'm speaking, I have not heard any Libanian on the international media or Liberian media or any African media condemning what happened against the Mandingo people in Nimba County. I'm not talking about Liberia, in Nimba County. We should have resolved. We should have resolved this issue first. Let us resolve this issue first. Put on a convention or reconciliation then before we talk about any land issue. Very important.
Okay. All right, Batre?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Your comment and statement is well taken. So thank you, sir.
Okay.
So, Ramadan, you got any comment? Yeah.
Yeah, I got a comment. Thank you very much, Ture, for expressing these sentiments. I remember Harrison Conway, Superintendent of Nimba. If you want the internet, you will see it. He's one man who even went as far as apportioning blame. Went as far as apportioning blame on ethnic group in Nimba for that. And he even went as far as hosting a reconciliation feast. And he has been hosted several times. Cows have been slaughtered. Elders from the both sides, from the 3 sides, from the 4 sides, have all met and said, it is over, it is done. I'm aware of those developments. So we didn't just take land issue and put it ahead of it. During the administration of Charles Taylor, similar processes were done in Saniquale. During the Judy Bryant administration, similar attempt was done. So this is precisely where we are. But like you said, those things that happen in Nimba, fortunately for me, I was in school in Monrovia. And when I went back in 92, most of those Auckland killing brothers against brothers, sisters, was all over to a certain extent. But what I even witnessed among my own tribe, Gil people doing to each other there, it gave me a very good idea of what happened behind me. And so, my brother, those are things that we all have to talk with our people so that we can let bygone be bygone. But for your concern, there have been condemnation by the Mayans. We have condemned whatever happened in the war down that it was not good, and our people let us make progress. And that has been done by Nimba authorities.
Okay. Well, is it too much to ask for another phase of reconciliatory gathering among
No.
Nimba
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not asking too much to ask of that. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we discussed the last time in the meeting is how can we embark on a real holistic reconciliation that maybe we get more of our people from the Mandingo side now coming into the country, especially Ganta and the Sake people, Ban Kample of late, I don't know. The need is always there because it will not easily go away. What happened during the war is bad. I don't want to narrate some of those things that when I went, I saw, but the betrayal, the deception, betrayal of brothers and brothers, friends and friends, and classmates, it was just too much. I witnessed some of it in Monrovia, where one of our own instructor was shown to rebels as a Mandingo man. Prince Johnson rebel, he was executed, and there was some person who was a big brother to me. And the guy who came to the yard where I was living when he was narrating the story, he and myself, we nearly had a fight that day. The good thing you are not soldier, myself, I was not soldier, but I was really, you can't do this. Mr. Fofana is hiding in West Point. You see him, and you say this, man, and you can't sit here to brag about it. A lot of things happen. So, but I think we are all leaders of the country. We can all look at it, and we can do it. All of the time, it's good to do it. I do my own personally. And I try to liaise with people. Though from my family side, I can say wholly we are clear. We never participated in any war, not one person from my family. Everybody knows us to be a Christian family. My father been a pastor. We all put that in. But as a people, as a country, the challenge is there, my brother. I don't think it's too much.
Okay, thank you, sir. I want to recognize the next caller. He's the president of the Minnesota Mandingo Association, Mr. Mohammed Dollar. Mr. Dollar, where you calling from? I just said where you from. So never mind that. So your question for the Honorable, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Kromah. Honorable Representative, thank you very much. I just want to make a follow-up about the land issue. You talk about people having due and some are now original due. How do you know the difference between the original due and the falsifying one? That's one. Number two, let's have a situation where, for instance, my father bought a land from somebody in 1950 or 1960, and my father is not a live animal, and the person that bought the land from, the person is not a live animal, and their children is coming back to claim that the land is for them, and people know very well that we bought this land from them. How do you solve problems like this in the community? Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you. For situation like that, we, like I said earlier, maybe you came on later, Mr. President, we have said specifically for situation like that, we have said that the land belongs to the people. That might be part of the commission or the commission's 10 rules because there is no intricacy there. The both parties are transacted their debt. You cannot undo what your debt father done. Even in instances where the father of the father who gives the land is not alive, we as a commission we're not allowing the children to claim. Because I mean you cannot go about undoing this. But some of the intricacies, like I said, is for example in my own hometown, the President family are saying yes, their father gave the place, but he gave it as a squatter right. No, that's another thing. And he gave it because he was a worshiper, he was a Muslim. And he gave it so that he and his brothers Muslim can pray. Their sin was damaged by the war. He had reverted to them. So I touched on it earlier that those are the extreme points we're having from both sides. And then what was the other issue he touched on quickly?
He was talking about, well, you know what? I can do better than trying to quote him. I'll just go ahead and reopen up his line so that you can go over the second part. Mr. Dollar, could you restate your second
Yes,
answer?
sir. The other question was that how do you know the difference between
good? How do you know?
Because you mentioned that
there are a lot of ways.
Yeah, people come and 5 persons will be claiming one land, and you don't know who the land is belong to, and they all have the deal for it. How do you know that this is the original deal and this is?
That's why we have the land commissioner from Nimba on the commission and work with the documents, and we also have someone from Lands and Mine on the commission. But on the surface, the reason I use that word is if a 3 are bringing a deed claiming that it's 5 acres, is 2 acres, and that you own it. On the surface, I know already it's a fraud. And the fact that there is a proliferation of deeds and claim on this one land, then it appears to me that there are false deeds involved because take that one land, I'm telling you, 40 deeds on it. So it's clear, just without even looking at them, that there are false deeds amongst those deeds that are claiming ownership. But when it comes to how the commission itself were trying to authenticate these, then I will tell you we were using authorities. But the statement I made was with specific reference to that spot in Ganta where you have up to 40 deeds claiming. And so I made a statement that false deeds, and I stand by it, that most of these deeds will be false because only one deed should prevail there, or at least 2 deeds.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let me try this guy again and see if he's by his phone now. 9380, your name, where you calling from, and your question. 9380? 9380, 646? Well, you might want to check your line. I don't know.
All right. Okay, I'm so sorry. I think my phone was muted.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Kromah, thank you very much.
Your name, where you calling from, and your question, sir.
My name is Worlea Kamara. I'm calling from New York, and I'm a citizen of Bond.
Oh, welcome, Mr.
Citizen of Bond?
Yeah.
Honorable Dunah, thank you so much. I hear you gave us some good money.
Where are you from? Which part of Ban? Try to locate yourself. Let me know your family better.
Honorable Kamara, this is Kamara from Ban. I'll talk to you after the conference or whatever. Anyway,
okay, get my number. Call me after the conference. Get my number from Kafumba.
I got your number, sir. We talked before.
Okay, we talked the other day. Okay. You're the former representative's son, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
I really appreciate your honesty. You seem to be so honest, and it's real because sometimes politicians come here and just tell us what we want to hear. But I don't have too many questions. It's just that one tour board just called from Philadelphia, and I just want to stress on what he was saying, and this is real. This is the Maningo people cry. We crying every day. We're banging Bond, we're banging Santa Cruz all these years before the war, 30 years, 40 years before the war. Now the war came, we all got displaced. Now we want to come back on our property. Now we don't have the property no more. Like the Tuazama issue you were talking about. We all grew up seeing Tuazama. Now all of a sudden the children want to tell the government, say they gave to the Tuazama, Honorable Tuazama gave the Maningo people the land as a squatter right. What is that? What is that coming from? You know, these are some of the issues. And another thing is a comment. This is another question. And the problem is what we're hearing from Liberia is that the people don't respect the authority. Just the land commission will say, okay, you go have your land. Then when you go to claim your land, that person will, refuse to or will refuse to remove themselves on your land. You see, what I think as a legislature, you need to come up with some laws. You know what I'm saying? So you can give the land commissioner a real power that if they decide that this piece of land is not yours, it should be moved and it should really go into effect.
Okay. That is it.
Right, and you are so up to the end. This is the cry for everybody. So when you go back tomorrow, you can tell the people in Liberia that the people here are crying, especially the Mandingo people, because right now I don't hear no Gio brothers in the land. I'm part of the Gio or Mano or Mandingo organization, Unico. I don't hear nobody on the land. I don't hear nobody on the line, and this is a concern. And I'm sorry from all. And you've been here, and you are at the Unico convention. You could tell how many Mandingo boys you saw in up there. Very, very few, maybe one or two.
Okay.
Because we are really frustrated. Couple of months ago, we heard that they want to divide Nimba County. Divide Nimba County between who? And that is the majority.
Make another comeback. Make a second comeback if you want to. We'll leave it. Let the honorable comment on that. If you want to come back, that's fine. We'll open up your line later. So, Dunah, you got anything to add to that? And before you make any comment about that, I do want to admonish Honorable Kamara of BMA that we do have Gio and Mano people on the line. Some of them I know personally. Hopefully they will find it in their heart to reveal themselves, but we got a few of them here. Just because they're not speaking, that doesn't mean they're not here. So, Honorable Dunah, you got any comment to make to that, sir?
As regards the integration process here, we have been talking with Unico leadership, but my first visit here, I raised the issue in 2007, but the Unico leadership was in the midst of a huge confusion, lawsuit and countersuits. I think this conference was the reconciliation conference, and I raised this in the first talk we had on this show, and somebody called from one Jabatel called and said, hey, Mandingo Pro were part of it, but I know better. I know that it's not integrated, and so it's a challenge for the Dolia leadership. And we said it at the meeting there. If you check their meetings, if keep any minutes and put it online, you'll see it. They'll raise the issue about the other tribes being part of it. And fortunately, this year they have someone from Beabli as the vice president, one lady named Blessu. She's from the Crown tribe of Nimba. She's the current vice president of Unico. And we are telling them to bring on board not only the Crown, but the Gui and Doru, as well as the Pele, the Bassa, and the Mandingo into it. So they promised the caucus that they will embark on the process of bringing all of you together to make Unico what it ought to be, united Nimbayans. So they have that commitment. But I will take your message back home. There was a point struck by a colleague about reconciliation. I will take it to the caucus, and you are striking another. Maybe we can find a way forward, and maybe we can coordinate, the caucus can coordinate a visit here, and we can visit some of these principal concentration of Nimbayans and try to involve all of the sector. And I think we need to look at it again.
Okay, thank you, sir. Folks, if you're just joining us, we have Nimba County Representative Honorable Dunah speaking with us, for one last time before he departs tomorrow for Liberia. So if you have any issues, comment, concern, by all means, please dial *61 so that we will give you the chance to make your voice heard. If you ask questions and you have a follow-up question to ask, by all means, dial *61. We will give you another chance. With that said, I'll take the next caller. But Bangali Trawale, where are you calling from? Your question, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm calling from Minnesota. I think you called my name already. Honorable, thank you very much for appearing on this show again. For the most part, we really, really enjoy you. One of me. Every time you appear, you tend to educate me on some of the intricacies of the land and what have you in Nimba County. But I have two little questions for you. One of which I will take you out of the so many questions asked on that. I will talk to you on something that you did mention in your deliberation about the hospital in Tapita.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems to me that the hospital in Tapita was a technical blunder by the government. You know how much I appreciate that hospital so much as an Nimbani as well. Such a development coming to my county is something that I embrace and cherish. But putting a referral hospital like that in the middle of the mud, whereby it's not accessible, to me, it's a technical blunder. But now that it's there, is there any way that your body, the legislature, can pressure government to make available whatever resources to rescue that hospital? But we enroll network in a very short time frame, because people are even dying on the way when they get into the hospital there. I know somebody that was a victim or seen nothing when that person should have been saved. So that's my first question. If there's any way that you are, with your help, with the help of the legislature, can influence government to do that rapidly to rescue that hospital. And the second question is on the same land issue. You talk about the disputed portion on that land issue in Ganta, where I'm from. I know that particular place you're talking about. I know most of the Kromah of that land. But what is alarming and so confusing to me when you say 40 deeds appear one time for that piece of land?
No other than Minister Doctor, brother, you can ask him.
Yeah, and which of course, according to you, most of the people are even Mandingos, all claiming the same land. Mm-hmm. So it appears to me like your commission as a whole kind of confused and throw your hand in the air and say, wow, how can 40% come out to say this land for them, therefore we cannot do anything about it. and if I recall, that particular place was declared eminent domain. But my concern is, or my question is, do you think that means that your commission and the government of Liberia also contributing to that controversy? The fact that you cannot identify 40 deeds among the better deeds, are you not contributing to that? If you cannot identify who is lying, to even prosecute them,
okay,
don't you think you are also contributing, giving your caliber of people on that commission?
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Bangali. I can go ahead, moderator.
Yeah, go ahead. The floor is yours.
I was just giving that as a background, but in our first discussion, I told you exactly the decision the commission took, which the president has endorsed, that the president was exercising eminent domain on that property, and the government has seized of it. We have asked government to seize of it, and the government has seized of it, and they will investigate these through lands and mines, and the authentic owner will be compensated by government. That decision was already taken and been endorsed by the president. She has publicly announced it. As regards the Tapeta Hospital, well, it's built like almost in the middle of nowhere, but there have some development. The portion of the roads are being paved. The Ganta-Hapo Highway project, the president continued to identify resources, and part of it should be paved. We understand Fishtown to Harper has already been, the project has already been granted. And then, so we get in between Fishtown to Tapeta and Ganta to Tapeta as the outstanding portion. So work is being done in all of these regards. Work is being done in the area of fundraising. So I think it is not bad. We'll catch up with it. The hospital is very important for that region, given the population. I actually don't believe that thing in the census. The census population at Nimba is 450,000, my brother. Statistically, it doesn't hold. The same year that the census registered 450,000 persons as inhabitants of Nimba, the school data reflected a school enrollment of 252,000. There is no way under no statistical rule that over 50% of the population can be students or child or school going A, because after all, you know that it is not all children that go to school. It's not all children of school going age that go to school, so that will put the population of Nimba at a school going on the children range of over 80%, which is impossible. So realistically, on-mail project Nimba are close to 1 million. UNDP project Nimba at 750,000. So I think it's good. The issue of road network, we can work on it. But it's catering to a huge population.
Okay. Thank you. If you just joining us, we still have our Donor here, and may I state that he has a long flight ahead of him tomorrow, and the time here is 10:16, so that means 11:16 to where he is, and so it is my intention to end this show at exactly 11 o'clock. So that's 44 minutes from now, unless the Honorable decides otherwise. So let's keep that in mind. If you have questions, keep them coming, and so that we can engage the lawmaker. So good fair-way treat. I know that there are better ways to do it, but anyway. So next caller, Mr. Noah Sano Nganifo. Where are you calling from and your question?
Yeah, Noah Sano from Dallas, Texas. Honorable, thank you very much for giving us more awareness concerning our country. My question here is that the question I'm giving is affecting not only Madingo but all Liberians in the United States. Okay, the question here is concerning the landowner in Liberia. I know a lot of friends that bought land in Liberia, and this land is being sold to 1 or 2, 3 people by the owner. So I want to know, sir, what are the legal process against those that are doing those kind of criminal acts? And it's discouraging a lot of people not to do development in the country. So what are some of the legal steps taken against those people that are selling one land to 3 to 4 people? And my second question here is that I'm from Nimba County. I used to know 6th district, and they talk about district number 7. Could you please give me a little knowledge about district number 7? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sander.
Okay. There are legal remedy to that. If a person sells a property to you and he turns around to sell the same property, he's no longer selling his property but yours, and there are legal recourse to that. That's a theft of property. But most cases, most times, like, bro, we don't want to sue. We say relocate me. So it's now becoming like a way of life. But if anybody was to attempt that on me, he's going to go to jail for theft of property. That is, I'm going to sue him, not because of my position. I'm going to sue him because it's theft of property. Because it's no longer yours. You have transferred it to me. The deed is in my name. And I have information to prove that you are the one who signed this deed. You cannot tell me, oh, I'll relocate, I may stay or maybe by my family. So we have not been asserting ourselves to a certain degree. So we have allowed, how you call it, we have allowed this thing to now become like a practice. So that's one thing. Mm-hmm. So we gotta be careful about it. And what was the other issue?
The second question was whether you can give him a picture of what district number 7 is like.
District number 7, we used to have 6 districts, 6 administrative districts. At the time you have 6 administrative districts, you have 9 electoral districts. Now you have, as a result of a law that was passed towards the end of the Taylor regime, you have what they call in Liberia statutory district, which has a superintendent. So currently you have 5 statutory districts. You have Worlea statutory district, you have Zoge statutory district, you have Sakepima statutory district, you have Tapepa statutory district. And within the statutory district, you have administrative district. The 6 districts you used to hear about before were all administrative districts. Of those 6 administrative districts, it is 5 that have now been elevated to statutory district. So now the situation there is this. We now have 17 administrative districts within the 5 statutory districts. And then we have 9 electoral districts. Now, district number 7, electoral district number 7, and to further break it down again, you have 12 education districts. So now I'm talking on the political side. The 17 administrative district, which is for administrative purposes, and then you have 9 electoral districts. District number 7 then is the electoral district that starts from Worlea. I don't know how well you know Nimba. Worlea is the big town right behind Bang. It could be like 5 miles from Bang. From Worlea to Way Fleety is the length of district number 7. So Worlea, Bang, our 4 towns that are around. If you get any idea, then you will know the collections of towns. So you get Worlea, you get Bang, you get Miample, and you get a whole Bao region with big town is Zone 2, and then you have Sakepie, then you get Bankwe, you get Petuo, Loyi, and you get Fleeting. And then, of course, coming towards Ganta, you get Nimba, which is a small town right after there as the border. So that's the electoral district number 7. And within that, you get the 2 big cities of Bang and Sakepie. Sakepie happens to be the administrative headquarters of Sakepie, which you know, of Sakepie Ma Statutory District now. Bang is no administrative center. Bang is just the big city in Zoge. Zoge Statutory District administrative
headquarters is Butu by the border there. So that's how the political landscape looks like now. 17 administrative districts, 9 electoral districts, and 12 education districts.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next caller, no name, 1778. Your name, where you calling from, your question, sir.
Yeah, Manu Bete, calling from Wisconsin. It's 1728. Good evening, Nogodoa.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good now. Fine.
Yeah.
In response to, I have 3 questions. Let me just be very quick with them. Yeah, in response to Brother Touré's comment that there was no one from Nimba County condemning the occupation of the land of the Mandingos by other people. You cited Honorable Harrison Conway. I'm aware of that. I'm also aware of Lawmaker Prince Johnson. Whether his was done with sincerity, I'm not also sure. But what are you people doing as county officials? Because you talk about sacrifices being made, cows being killed. You have tried those procedures. They are not working. What are you doing to reassess the process so that you can move forward? That's the first question. The second question has something to do with the issue of compensation. I'm not a Christian, but I read the Bible. We heard about the judgment of King Solomon, where he wanted to split the baby into 2, and one of the mothers there that were claiming that the baby was for her was a little happy. Do you think compensation is the right way if this guy knows that the land is not for him, he doesn't care, saying it's not for me, let's can be in it? Do you think compensation will very settle that person? Looking at, or it could be another way too to just eliminate certain people from certain constituencies. So I'm also asking you as a lawmaker, do you think that's the best way forward? And the issue of fake deeds, no matter what happens, we know who owns a specific deed. If you go to a National Archive Documentation Center, you go to Lands and Mines, you have a single land carrying about 3-4 records. What are you doing as lawmakers and county officials to make sure that people do not have the double records or triple records for a specific land? Because land issue in Liberia is not only related to Nimba County. What are you people doing about those 3 issues? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Benedict.
Okay. On the part of condemnation, we have all agreed earlier that we will continue on the path of reconciliation because our experience of the war was very ugly and harsh. And then these issues, that's why we have set up the Land Commission. The Land Commission has begun substantive work as of the year that ended, and this being their second year of operation, we expect them to be more vigorous as they go about their work. And then, so we have the Land Commission there that will be handling all of that, and that will be building a database, and we think they should be doing a good work. I don't want to comment on their work for now because they are just starting. But all of these documents, like I said, even the Land Commission for Nimba, for Lofa, and other conflict situations, they are all being forwarded to them so that they work at it together with the commission. And then, what was your last concern?
The last question was the National Archive. I'm going to stay having here. My ability, what was your last question, sir?
Yeah, my last question, we have one land in Liberia having 2, 3, 4, 5 deeds. No matter what happens, we know who's the actual owner. So what are you doing as lawmakers or as officials in the country to really make sure that one land cannot be having triple deeds, 10 deeds, 15 deeds? Wow.
Yeah, that is very bad. We agree. That's why, like I said, we have the Land Commission, and the Land Commission is working on it. On the issue of legislation, the Land Commission is supposed to review the existing laws along with the Justice Ministry. If there's a need for new laws to prescribe new punishment and things, then they will look at it. But again, it does not stop a lawmaker from introducing legislation that will curb something that is becoming a ugly situation in the country. So again, you made a point, and we'll take it into account, and we'll take it into perspective.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bamba, Mr. 3357, you made a comeback. I see. Are you there?
Sure, I'm here. Thank you very much. Honorable, I don't know if I'm wrong. I think you have acknowledged that there was some voter went on against the Mandingo people in Nimba County. I mean, if I think if you acknowledge that one against the Masingo people in Nimba County.
Somewhat.
Mr. Baba, your line is not very clear. I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me?
It's very difficult to hear still. If you got any earpiece, you might want to make some adjustments.
Can you hear me now?
Hello?
You know?
Yeah, hello? Yeah, hello?
You hear me now?
Yeah, it's much better now, yeah.
It is?
Yeah, I can hear. It's better a little bit, yeah.
All right, sir. What I was saying is that the butcher went on against the Madingo people. I don't know if you acknowledge it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think you acknowledge that there were butchers that went on against Madingo people, which means Madingo people were involved by their neighbors. Then they give them out. But and you are a member of the Nimba County Legislative Caucus. Don't you think it would be better for you, for the brothers and sisters who are members of the GML in the Nimba County Legislative Caucus, offer a public apology to the single people to bury it in our budget?
I wish your question was as simple as you have put it, but this guy from Yugoslavia said, at the end of the day, he said, we want reconciliation, we got to look at the page. We want to look at the page, we must not look at it only from where you are standing. In the battle, everybody is able to account for the battle from his side of the front line. He won't definitely know what happened on the other side of the front line. I have experienced both ways. I was in Monrovia, and I know what I experienced. I went to Banga. I saw what other people experienced. And I was in Liberia. I was in Liberia during World War I, II, III. And I again know what all happened. And I went to Ganta, and I saw Ganta was completely demolished. Very few buildings standing. My brother, if that is the pace you want us to go to, dealing with facts, we can do it. The government said, when a rat intestine linear, it can't done, which is true too. So the process of reconciliation, which we are all committing ourselves to, it involves truth telling. But I will tell you, I was not in Nimba, that there were a lot of things that happened there. There were families that were moving in together. People went to school together. They go on their farm. They carry their friends on their farm. They buy cocoa from their parents. And the friends carry soldiers to the farm and burn the soldier and kill a lot of the family. I'm aware of that. My brother is happy on all sides. You understand what I'm saying? A declaratory statement by the Nimba caucus in whatever faction, I don't think it will end the reconciliation, or it will reconcile everything overnight and wipe it away. No. And to tell you the fact about it, it was not one side that butchered the other. Everybody, both sides butchered each other. The Crown butchered the Gil, the Mandingo butchered the Gil butchered the Mandingo. All the way to the last war, which was the Lord invasion of Ganta. Do you know what happened there? My brother, we all want to turn a new page forward for our country. People were hurt on all sides of the war. I can say that because I know it. I've never lived outside Liberia, my brother. I've never lived outside Liberia. My longest time outside Liberia in the whole war was 1 month in Dunah-2nd, and that was 2001. Well, peacetime, so not even wartime. So we know the stories are all over. In the very beginning, before the very first soldiers could even reach Mutuo to engage the rebel on Christmas Day, who pointed the 5 chiefs that were executed in Bam publicly? Well, it's not a Mandingo Zone chief who pointed out his colleague, Gio chiefs. My brother, we cannot go that route. We cannot have a mindset about reconciliation because on both sides of it, wrong has been done. That is my approach. I do my work before coming into this politics. I work in conflict resolution, in peace building We were part of the Liberia Transitional Justice Network. We set up the TRC. The TRC statute. I serve as a member of the drafting committee. Jerome Verdier can attest to that, and all the people who work there, they can attest to that. So we've done a lot of research, and we've done a lot of work, and we also have experience, and we know the historical facts and the background to those things that you're saying. Yeah, the Nimba caucus could make a political statement, but how does it contribute to substantive conflict resolution? How does it put away the land conflict? How does it put away many other smaller subset of issues and conflicts on it? I don't think demanding this kind of statement contribute to this, because the very next thing you're going to say is, what about the Gio people who were killed too by the Mandingo people? What about the total destruction of Ganta too by the Mandingo people? So as a public servant, I don't think that's the best course of action for reconciliation in Nimba, and I think it would just be a useless political statement, but a substantive work of peace we must all work towards it as a process, in the process of truth-telling, in the process of looking at what is in our hand. I think with that approach, we can all work at it and have lasting peace. But these political statements, if we could solve the problem, then it's all our saying, because once we went on air and said the Gio Emmanuel are responsible for 85% of the destruction in the whole country of Liberia, and he made a public apology. Find the internet, you'll find his name. It didn't solve the problem. So I don't think it solves the problem. I think it's a more sentimental approach. And I deal with facts. I deal with issues. I deal with people. And I deal with culture. I don't think it will help us. And I don't think it, because the both sides were going to jump right on your throat on it. So it won't work. The other side will ask for it too. So you will find the Nimba caucus, after caving into a demand from this side, we have to cave into a demand on this side. In the end, they say the caucus don't even know where they're going. No. I will not be party to that approach. If that's the approach for reconciliation, if you are able to show me where it has worked and put your cards on the table and put your philosophy on the table, we can all study it. The Nimba people say that is the way forward. We can go with it. But I don't think that's the way forward from what I know and what I've seen.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. We got just 25 minutes left, so the Honorable has spoken a lot, and so we can't thank him enough. But still, he's a people's servant, a truly people's servant. I can see that, and I promise I'll come to Liberia next election to cast my vote for you. If you
that would be good. You have to kind of register first.
I'll become a register. I don't need an American passport here first to come, right?
No problem. They can come here and see register.
All right. Now, next caller, Brother Musa Kamara has made a comeback. Brother Kamara, welcome back. Your line is open, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, God. Honorable Dunah. I don't know what to say, my brother. I don't know what to say, my brother. You know, basketball is supposed to gun you, but I really didn't know that you're leaving as early as tomorrow. You know, you are our representative, but, you know, we're going to have a representative going to Mbam pretty soon. Hopefully we'll have the opportunity to gun you. You know, we still believe in our tradition, and, you know, that's the Liberian way, and that's the Nimba kind of way. When the chief comes in the town, you know, you kill the chicken, or you know, or you gun him.
You're right.
You know, but truly speaking, my brother, you know, you speak in an emotional point. You know, everything. I understand the war is over. You know, we need to move forward, and which is true. But I just want to ask you a little simple question. Since you've been in America here, I mean, what different approach? You know, you had the opportunity to stay here a month. I mean, what changes you saw here that you think you can go Liberia to implement it? Because you know, Liberia is fresh from war, and people saying that there's no rule in the country, and that's true. There's no rule in the country, whether we accept it or not. There's no rule. Police people don't respect anybody. Nobody's scared of police people. So, you know, so what are some of the things? What are some of the small things you think you can do in your power, you know, to make a changes, you know, because, you know, we all need this. So what are some of the things here that, you know, you think you can It make a difference, you know.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, actually, if I got passionate about reconciliation, is because I do not like sentimental or peripheral approaches which does not address substantive issues. But overall, I try my best to deal with issues of the substantive issues objectively, because I just feel like in that way we can make progress. The issue of mob justice and lawlessness in Liberia is not unique to Liberia. Post-conflict situation country, post-conflict countries have these kind of situations. So it's serious, my brother. There are instances where people will attack police, and you find out that most of the guys who do it are guys who have combat experiences. So it's difficult. It's difficult, but we are working at it, and some of the mechanism is the continuous civil education, the continuous re-education of these people, offering opportunities of vocational training, skill training to ex-combatants and others. And sometimes our people, historically, Liberians are impatient. Very, very impatient. They won't wait. They won't hold their heart. The legal process taking long, or they think will take forever. By the time you look, they finish lynching the person. If somebody commits a murder somewhere, if the police don't get there soon, that guy is dead. So, yes, those are facts. What we can learn from the American society, is their respect for laws and order, and their peaceful pursuit of their own politics and things like that. Those are things that we are learning, and there is a heavy investment on the part of the international community in civil education, which we deeply appreciate. But one thing that those of you in the diaspora get to help us there with is to spread a message of peace as well, and reconciliation, and respect for rule and order. But it can be interesting that a guy will sit down in Philadelphia and tell me to help to arrest somebody in a civil matter. And I asked him, I said, my brother, we grew up together. You think you can ask your congressman in D.C. to do that for you? So, my man, they're not Liberia yet. I said, oh, so a good one for there and not good for here. I said, that's not the kind of Liberia we want to build here, and you're my friend, brother, but I want to tell you that's not what we want here. So you got to be part of it. I know a good number of people who come from here, and they will not even want to stay in line at the bank. They want to bust the line and see all Liberians with which we are trying for our people to move away from. So Liberians in the diaspora have the responsibility to whenever opportunity you have in talking with our people, to bring back. The last time I made a political statement to some of these guys, and they look at me, are unique, I say, hey, if you guys here can be going over your head in projecting a senator who in 7 years does not have a single office in Nimba, as someone telling me it's a new normal for Nimba, what you call new normal for Nimba with reference to Prince Johnson? Is he a character that cut for reconciliation, that cut for peace? And when I have finished talking, they apologized to me and I said, you guys apparently don't want good for Liberia, right? Will such a senator even be deemed worthy of the country's support for presidential thing? For re-election before you even talk about national thing? Or you guys are moving on tribal sentiment? So what kind of values are you exporting to us in Liberia? I dealt with it at a unique meeting, and I was very frank with them. Not that I want their support for my political way, but they are doing a disservice to Nimba by supporting people in political office who are not delivering, who have no concern, who their office is highly open, who sometimes 2-3 years before they reach in the county, who cannot boast of any impact on the county through the budget or through individual initiative or whatsoever. Even the whole peace process we're talking about, the senior center have never been part of it. So those are the issues that we are combating with. So you who here, what kind of candidate you calling home to tell people to support? Is it because you are Gil and he's Gil, say you say you support him? Is it because he's from Nimba, you say you support him? Or is it, are you using the standard year to impact to our people back home. So the challenge too is yours, because people in Liberia listen to their brothers in here a lot too. So the responsibility is yours to help educate us on on these things. So I think it's all our responsibility.
Okay, thank you. We got just 18 minutes to go. Before I take the next caller here, I want to ask you a slightly different question, different away from Nimba slightly. I know that the last time you appeared on this show, you were a bit critical of our finance minister, Amara Kone.
Yeah, always, man.
You had some issue with the budgeting and the rest of it. But then today, I noticed when doing your deliberation, you spoke strongly against corruption. Corruption must be eliminated at all levels, in all forms and shapes. And for what it is, at least for what we've been seeing, what we've been reading over here, it seems to me that if nothing else, Amara Kone seems to be the face of anti-corruption war right now. I think he's exposed more corrupt government officials than anyone has in recent history. And so does that mean that at least you and Amara Kone are team when it comes to corruption or anti-corruption then, sir?
Hello.
Yeah.
I see him making effort on that front, and my comments on that will see whether he's generally fighting corruption or whether he's shifting personnel to bring in his own guys. I need to evaluate, because my experience in Liberian politics is we sometimes the public minister, cabinet minister will say, oh, this player is rotten, I got to do a cleanup. The next thing you know is they want to fill in critical position in that ministry with their henchmen. It's an old trick. It's not new. Very old. So I cannot right now say Minister Kone is genuinely fighting corruption, and neither can I say he's putting his henchmen in place, but I need to observe the situation, and then I will be able to know whether it's a genuine fight against corruption or it's a calculated move of entrenching his dominance at the ministry. My issue with him, which remains, is how can you have a budget? How can you have a budget that the development aid that goes to counties are not based on certain criteria, but appears to be based on sentiment? That was one of the issues I raised. I raised similar issue with Gafon and with Minister Gwenigali. Gwenigali and the Finance Ministry were allocating $150,000 for healthcare needs in Nimba, whereas Nimba population is as high as you know, and at the same time giving the same $150,000 to a county of 50,000 population like Gwaku. When I raised it and I elevated it to the level of the donors' concern, and when the donors meeting, the donors sided with me, and Nimba budget was pushed up to almost 500,000. You see what I'm talking about? Now let us go to Amara's first budget. Development aid coming to Liberia, direction, Nimba County, 6 million. Monserrado, 100 and some more million. Nimba is next to Monserrado. If Monserrado is at 100 and some more million, with all of its infrastructure development, why would Nimba be at 6 million? You will agree with me that there is something wrong and the minister must explain. Then the minister home county of Bapolu got 18 million. Then county like River says, which is in the same underdeveloped situation like Bapolu, you put a round egg 0 to their name. My brother, if you don't see anything wrong already, you don't have to be a financier to see something wrong. Because if you want to help people that are poor, then you must help all of them with at least, even if not equal, but with some level of equality. If you're giving Bapolu 18, are you giving Riverside 17 or 16? Are you giving River G that? Are you giving a Grand Cru that? No. But you give River Set 0. You give Bapolu 18. Then the issue of criteria and the issue of directing resources to your county using your position has come to play, and you must answer those questions. Those are my concerns. And everybody, a lot of people will agree with me that a minister need to address those issues. And for me, those issues have not died. We are all financier, and we need to address the issue ourselves.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you said you raised the same issue of Gafan and the minister before Gafan. So it seems to me
I did.
So it seems that it's not a new issue, that, what Amara is doing was done before he got there. But we'll take the next question.
What they have continued to do in that position is, like I said in this very discussion, what they continue to do in that position is the tenets of development planning is not an overarching principle of allocation of government resources, but they are using sentiments, and in most cases, like some of them are saying, how much this sector brings into government. Government is not allotment is not based on your revenue input, because the military, for example, brings you no revenue. The security sector brings no revenue, but you're not going to ask them. Our police director said the budget team asked for how much you're bringing into the budget. And it was looking ridiculous that the budget team would ask the police chief as to what is your contribution to the revenue. Government is not a business to say if this subsidiary is not making money, we will close down and we'll reduce account to it. No. So those are issues of policy and politics and your approach. And I'm addressing this issue not just as Nimba Kande lawmaker, I want it to be clear to you, but as an executive of the United Party and the secretary of the United Party Legislative Caucus. And this sentiment that we are expressing has found support in numerous quarters. And it's an issue that we're not just raising it here, we are raising it before in Liberia, and we are carrying it to our party retreat, that the way our financial team has been handling the allotment of our national resources doesn't appear to be in conformity with our constitution. We say it should be equally divided. That's the issue. It got nothing to do with Amara as a person.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Fumba Toure, welcome back. We got just 10 minutes left, so if you want to be a little brief, so we can take the rest of the people and call it a night.
Okay.
So your line is open, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Honorable, thank you very much. I love you already, but that does not mean I cannot strongly disagree with you.
My brother, if you don't disagree with me, then you don't love me.
No, I love you. I love you already. You see, there was a question posted to you by Bamba, who said that the apology from the Gio to the Madigo in Nimba-Kande. You see, I grew up in Nimba-Kande. I did not leave Nimba-Kande until 1990 in the heat of the war. And I say that when the war started in Butuo, all the way Tiaple, Kample, and Bam, from Butuo, it was actually knowing that people have come to invade Liberia and they have started killing Madingo people. Rather, we in Butuo. The second town was Tiaple. They attacked Tiaple, and people were in the mosques, burned the mosques, and killed people in Tiaple, which was the second attack. You see, and again, you raise a concern that everybody butcher one another in Liberia. But where it started, that's where we're looking at. Where it started. And I will frankly tell you that it was the right of the Madingo people to have defended themselves because we were oppressed. Under the international law, if you are oppressed, you get to defend yourself. He said that is why, when the international community going after the criminal child seller today, all these things, that is why Prince Johnson cannot be arrested, because we know what transpired between the Nimbandian and Samuel Doe government.
Okay.
And that is what.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. We got to wrap it up.
I'll be brief. And that is why Alain Kromah cannot be arrested.
Right.
Also, you see, I am saying this that actually we want peace in Liberia. I am not saying that nobody should apologize, but you people in the official seat of the country right now should actually. It's not too late to ask for this reconciliation.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry we'll have to leave it there. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Turo. We'll have to leave it there. Mr. Dunah, you got anything to add to that? I got a few questions. I want to make sure these people get their say before, because we got 8 minutes left. Yeah.
The only thing I can say is just to repeat myself. I think we need a all-rounded substantive approach than political statement. And I will maintain that view that this issue they run deep. And a political statement cannot easily away. We got to look at it. We got to look at the people in the country and work at it together.
Okay. Next caller, no name, 0865, first time caller. Your name, where you calling from, and your question.
Thank you, Mr. Kafumba Kromah. This is Brother Musa Kone. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Welcome, Mr. Kone.
Yeah, I'm at work right now. If you're here and a noise in the background, you should forgive me for that.
Okay, you're on the clock. You got to push the hour, yeah.
Yeah, I got a quick question for the Honorable. So, Honorable, thank you. We are glad to receive you in our talk show tonight. So, I got a quick question concerning about the bank issue, especially concerning about the Alhaji Tazama Muslim School, who was break down during the war to the ground level. I just want to find out if the federal government of Liberia or local government of Nimba County got any plan to rebuild those schools. That's my quick question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kone. Thank you, Mr. Kone. Yep. Did you get that question, Honorable?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. The Alhaji Tazama Memorial School was built by the governor of Liberia, understand. And I tell you, when we went back in 91, that's where we reopened in 92, that's where we reopened the Ban High School. And we were using that facility for 2-3 years. When the situation called Banga 4 came about, where in Alhaji Kromah and his troops were able to push Stiller back, it was at that point that Stiller sent his artillery battalion to Ban. It was Stiller artillery under the command of one lady called Martina Johnson that completely de-roofed that building, took out the zinc, the planks, the door, the window, and everything, and carried to Ivory Coast. I was in Ban, and I'm calling her name. I know she's a resident of the United States here today, and she sees this fine facility. She should be able to regret those actions. But substantially, I wrote a situation report on it, and I gave it to Dr. Koto, and the Muslim Association is aware of it. And Dr. Koto promised to work to renovate it. He didn't make it, and he left the ministry. Fortunately for me, now we got a new guy there in charge of building, who is from Zoga, Dr. Kadika Dan. I put it to him, and he had promised me that he will do his best. So that's where we are on it. The short of it is we are working on it to see how we can put that school back together, but it is not to the ground. The concrete, the walls are concrete, so they are standing. So it needs renovation definitely, because it's been de-roofed since 1994 to now. So that's almost 16 years.
Okay, thank you. Next caller, we got 4 minutes left. Please be brief. Mr. Kenneth, the line is open. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Honorable Representative, this is Sekou Kenneth again. I'm going to try to be as brief as I can. My question got to do with the decentralization process in Liberia. During the election period, people always talk about it. Politicians talk about decentralization. And Nimba County being one of the populated county in Liberia, and in your deliberation, you said some people went to Liberia and to Nimba after when they retrieved their land and they decided to sell the land. And there might be many reasons, but one of the reasons is because some people kind of don't have much interest because in various counties because everything is concentrated in Monrovia. So what you doing as a representative of Nimba County to encourage decentralization? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kenneth.
Okay, thank you, Kenneth. Like I said, the process started even when our brother was minister, before our brother became minister. And we're working on that process. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. You good? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're working on it as a government, as a ruling party. We have a commitment to the Liberian people that we will enact the decentralization law, and our president has done well on it. And I can say for sure, before the end of this second term, all of these things will come to pass. Wherein the revenue sharing scheme, and each county will have something like a small body that needs to decide on what to do with their money. And it won't be a but it will be certain degree of autonomy will be given to this country. So I think it will work out well to our advantage. And that will substantially silencing those who want and are arguing for division of Nimba, because some of their argument is that Nimba is not being fairly treated by the budget, by successive finance ministry and budget team. And so one way we can get a fair share is to pass off ourselves so that saying all countries are treated the same, then we'll get 2-3. So I think the Madam Salif and the Unity Party, which I'm part of, we are committed to that. And there's a major plank in our platform, and we'll make sure that it comes to pass.
Okay, thank you. You have you got 1 minute left, Mr. Ability. Please be brief. 1 minute to go. Your line is open. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, I'm very sorry, but I have my phone on my lap, and I'm using an earpiece so it fell, and I didn't hear but the honorable answer to my second question, so I just wanted to hear from the horse's own mouth. What was the second question? What was that second question? Yeah, it was the issue about the compensation. Do you think compensating people for their land is that way forward? And if so, why?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, compensation is a win-win situation because eventually there are two parties claiming. And in all of the cases, one party already has a structure on the property. And in most cases, it's the new party. That's the party that built after the war. So we thought that as a conflict resolution mechanism and also approach that will create a win-win situation and talk brothers to brother. Hey, brother, this man is here. He built a structure here. He's begging you. Then the other man could say, no. Let him take the money and be relocated. I really need his property. So that's the scenario. So in the event where any party agree to take the money, it becomes win-win. If you don't have property on it, you refuse to accept the money, the other man will take the money. When he takes the money, he'll go and build himself a new property. Mind you, the property that remains there is for you. If you want to knock it down, you knock it down. That's what I said. So we think we're using it as a conflict resolution mechanism. We are not saying, hey, everybody who claiming land will come and compensate you. No, that's not the policy. The policy is to bring the two parties to the table. But on that table, we get money there, and we get property there. So one person will end out the property, and one person will end out the money, and we think it will reduce the hard feeling than allowing the matter to go to court, and then they knock the gavel. Justice is blind. They don't care. But we are not judiciary. We are people, the Nimba people, and we're trying to solve our own problems. So that's why we came up with that approach. But it's not that we have a yardstick that says, everybody who making claim here, you will be compensated. People who have built on it, they remain. No, that's not it. The compensation, it comes out of negotiation. And when they have agreed to a negotiated settlement, it becomes a win-win thing. That one side will always get something. That's what we mean.
All right, Honorable Dunah. You have the last word, unless you want me to take that as your closing remark. But otherwise, we've done
I would just want to tell everybody thank you. It's been a long interview, but I actually enjoy it, and I hope to keep in contact with all of you. Like I said again, let me restate, we are there to work for you. We want your advice. We want your criticism. I was telling my brother, if you don't criticize me, I don't think you're working effectively, because you should be able to criticize me and advise me, because I believe I'm a social democrat, regardless of whatever may be the philosophy of people I work with. I'm a social democrat, and we say that it is through criticism and self-criticism that we make progress. And so we will look forward to your own comments on what we are doing, to your own advisement. If you think there's a piece of legislation that we can work out, you help us. We can work together and introduce it. And like I said, I'll be reactivating my website, and we're trying to keep it current. So look out for it in October, and we'll keep all of you together. And thank you. We want the Mandinga community to merge into the greater Unico community so that we can all work together and move Nimba forward. I think that is our historic responsibility as to the kind of Nimba we leave for our children and for people who will come behind us.
Thank you, Mr. Honorable Dunah. Thank you so much. Having you the first time as a guest was an honor, and having you as the second time is beyond description. I really can't seem to find any word to describe that. As basic as you are, or as you've been in the U.S., you find the time to keep your promise. I'm truly impressed by that. I want to thank you profoundly on behalf of myself, my team, and all of my listeners. We want to thank you, and I want to thank you, the audience. As we all know, this is a two-way street. I'm here because you are here. You are here because I'm here. And together we are all here because our guest made a comeback. So I want to thank each and every one of you, and that brings tonight's show to a close. Honorable Dunah, safe flight. I look forward to seeing you in December when I come to Liberia at the end of November. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good night. Good night to us. The show is officially over. Yeah.
Thank you. My God.